in Yeoman Stadium. So you just heard from the guy that screams and yells and never stops berating officials every Friday night. Now you hear from the guy who never says a word to officials and as quiet as can be every Friday night. Extremely quiet. And if you believe that, there's some property in Laplace that I can sell you as we speak. He's in his 20th year as head coach at St. Charles Catholic, 50th year of coaching. Has his Comets in the Division III state championship game against Lafayette Christian Saturday. That game, of course, taking place at Cajun Field in Lafayette on Saturday at 6. He has 277 career victories. It's 11th all-time in Louisiana prep football history. Previously won a state title at St. Charles Catholic in 2011. Won state titles at Riverside Academy and Lutcher as well. And served as the head coach at Jesuit, too. One of the most storied coaches in the history of Louisiana. Please give a warm welcome to the quiet one, Coach Frank Monica of St. Charles Catholic.
Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, 50 years, Kenny. I was not there when he signed the Declaration of Independence, but I did know Thomas Jefferson well. And I do like everybody, even Paul, even officials. Thank you so much. And congratulations to Ryan. Congratulations to you getting here. And I knew you would, you know, looking at your football team and with everything that you do. And naturally, congratulations to my son. First thing I told him, I said, you might have messed up. You might have won too fast, too early. You know, so because after this, you know what happens. And also, you know, the JP left, but I want to congratulate him because he was instrumental in trying to get that LSA together. What people don't understand is that, you know, we didn't create this situation, and that's not exactly what we wanted either. But I think he explained it very, very well in terms of what we're going to do. We're excited about playing. One of the things I pushed that when we had the meeting in the summer in Lafayette was to do a Saturday night venue. And the reason was to go opposite the semifinals of the public schools. And we'd have that venue to ourselves. ULL has extended themselves to us. They actually went out, I don't know if you knew this, Division I secured Tulane, but they were also went out to do the other divisions all at ULL. But the LHSAA told them they could not play a game after December 7th. We wanted to go Saturday and the Sunday at ULL for the other divisions also. Well, the LHSAA decided that they could not play a championship after the 7th. Well, then we just find out that the other division are going to play next week, next Friday at 12 o'clock. Well, I'm not very good at math with that Nickel State education, but I think the 15th is after the 7th. Is it not? So, but that's what we were told. But anyway, here we are. And we're talking about playing on the turf field, playing at 6 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon with no conflicts there. No conflicts there. The parking is unbelievable. We're playing at a 35,000 seat stadium. We have our own locker room. We have our own suite upstairs, and for the family and things like that. And we're excited about that. And I think we have a chance to make some money. What people lost in this whole thing, the most, if you make it to the finals, the most a select school can play is 13 games. Well, that's a lot of revenue. You have a bye included in there. That's a lot of revenue you lose for a high school program. It's not about the revenue, but you have an opportunity here to make some money. But more importantly, we miss. I had an opportunity to talk to Louis Cook. What you really miss in the playoffs when we were all together is going on the road and playing in the 32 team bracket and playing a small school, going to Winfield, going to John Burroughs High, and playing a team you've never played before. We don't have that anymore, and until it gets back together. And I certainly hope that they do. One of the guys on the executive committee that's really pushing the multiplier in the six divisions, he said, Coach, I couldn't get anything done on the executive committee. And he's an ex-coach himself. So he actually got off the executive committee to try to get something established. So I think that you're going to see that. But here we are. We've been very fortunate. This year we have 4 ball games that we took late in the 4th quarter. We've been in 2 overtime games already this year. We've been very fortunate and very lucky. And to be playing in a state championship game. We beat a very, very good football team last week. And the week prior to that was another battle. The score didn't indicate how close that ball game was. And we're going to go play this team called Lafayette Christian. They're unbelievable. I think they have, like right now, over time, they have 7 D1 guys on that team. When their D-line lines up, butt to butt, they're out of bounds. They're huge. They're 6 inches across the eyes. They have a free safety that's tremendous. You can't kick to him. He's so fast. I think he needs a parachute to stop himself. He's really, really fast. And this guy is he's just a junior. And from what we understand, he's one of the top juniors in the whole nation, not just this state. So they have a lot of talent. The only game they've lost is to Acadiana, which is the #1 seed in 5A football. So they're players all over the place. We have to compete and do well in all phases just to stay on the field with them. I think our kids will challenge them. I think our kids will fight. I think our defense will be prepared to play their game. They have a quarterback that runs around a little bit, and he's got a strong arm. They have actually two quarterbacks. But I think that the bottom line is we're going to have to take care of the football. And you hear coaches say that all the time. You know, because beginning of the year, you know, I said a prayer. I said, Lord, make me humble. I think he misunderstood me. I think he said, Lord, make me fumble, because we fumbled 3 times. So I got it. Now we got it straight, and then hopefully we got to take care of the football and you know, throw the short passing game that we can do, and try to find a way to get a first down or 2. So it's going to be a tough battle for us. But the Saturday game also helps us have one more day of practice. Of course, it might not matter against them, but hopefully that one day of practice is going to extend our practice time, our film time, and things like that. So with that being said, I'll open it up with any questions and get out of your hair, if at all possible. Kevin, was that you? I'm not picking up the check. Okay.
Well, why would you start now? Coach, I know Nick knows everything that you taught him. Everything he knows, you taught him. Now, what didn't you teach him?
What's that? I'm sorry?
What didn't you teach him that he needs to know?
I don't know. I mean, you remember me? Listen, I graduated. I didn't graduate cum laude. I graduated thank you, Lord. You remember that? You know, he's so much more cerebral than I am. You know, and I'm not too smart. You know, when I came up, you guys don't remember this. It was a 16 millimeter. There's these other guys. We have to remember. You remember that, Coach? We had to go trade. We had to go trade market. We had to go trade film on Saturday morning with the VHS, and you curse at the other coach because it wasn't top quality. Now with the huddle thing has changed the game tremendously. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you can sit there and you can kill yourself with tape. You never have any downtime. I mean, your wife is talking to you at home, but you got the iPad in front of you, so you have no downtime with it. It's changed the game totally as far as analyzing games and stuff like that. I just, you know, I'm very, very proud of him, the fact that he's organized and he's got his team in position, and that's the most important thing for a coach. You know, coach can tell you, I mean, you can do all the preparation you want to, the players have to play. I'm very proud of my players, because they're the ones that put in the time. And then, you know, the sport of football is so special. I mean, you heard Coach say it. You know, I say this all the time. I'm really scared of football in the future. I hate to go off on a tangent, but I'm scared of football in the future because it's being eaten away and you know, football is one of those sports. It's not a lifetime sport. You know, when you play tennis and golf and swim, you can do that for the rest of your life. You can play baseball and softball the rest of your life, but you're not going to play football. Your high school years, when they're done, I told that to my seniors, they're going to have their last practice on Thursday. That'll be the last official practice. It'll be done. 2% of all high school players go on to play college ball. 2%, if it's a 2%. You know, us at St. Charles, I've never had a SEC football player yet sign. I've had some guys go to Tulane, I've had some guys go to other places, but you know, it's all about the journey. It's all about the experience of playing the great game. It's not about, you know, it's not about the guy going to the NFL and stuff like that. High school football is a great institution, and if I had my druthers, I said this the other day publicly, if I had my druthers, every kid, every male would be required to play football, because there's all the value systems that you have are right there in that sport that we can teach. Coach?
Hey, I got 2 things. Are these games going to be televised?
Ours will be on Cox, yes.
On Cox, okay.
Yes,
and
sir.
Also, knowing that you're an alumni from Nichols, are you paying attention to how great their season's been? They're now having to go out and play the #1 team in the playoffs. Nichols is. So, talk about if you followed the Nichols Colonels.
I'm sorry, say it again. Nichols Colonels. Oh, the Colonels. Okay. Well, that's it. You know, the North Dakota State's been really, really good for a long, long time. And they play great technique. They play real, real hard. Those guys up there, I mean, It must be something about being snowbound. That's all they got to do. I mean, there's something like that. But I know they play real hard, and it's always tough to go up there to play. But you know what? That system needs to be analyzed for D1 also. That's a great system. You know, I don't like the way they seed it, but that's a great system. They talk about the expanding. What is wrong with 16 teams going in the playoffs? What's wrong with 8 in D1? Make all those bowl games. That's been said. I've been brought up by a number of you guys in the sports writers that have done that before. You know, bring that up. And now all of a sudden take it out of there, because there are a lot of good football teams that get better at the end of the year. You know, there's one thing that I didn't mention about my football team that I'm very proud of. Yeah, we all know in the game, injuries are a big part of it. Well, and we went through a spell about midway through the season. We had some starters that were out. But I'm very happy to say that the team that went to camp way back in August 5th will line up on Saturday night, every one of them. And that's important nowadays. But that's a great question, and I really wish them well, both of them, Coach Selfo, Coach Rebo, because it's great for Louisiana football. Think about what's going on here with the Saints and LSU and things like that, and what Joe Burrow is doing for high school football. And I used this the other day with my team, because he's showing character, and you know, it's just exactly what we need to have in the sport. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coach.
Coach, I have one more question. The kid's not playing in the Superdome. You've heard a lot of people talk about that.
Right.
Could I please get your take on that?
Okay. The number one, let me tell you this, and a lot of people have said that. There's no glamour in going and playing in the Superdome and play a championship game at 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, who can be there? And it's happened. In fact, 2 years ago, there was a team that left on a Wednesday. They missed school Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because they played a late game. Where's all the academic things, the academic world? I'm not complaining about that. When you play in a Superdome, which you don't know the day before, you have to go practice at 45 minutes, and you only allow one half the field. Right, Coach? You only allow one half the field, and you take your pictures, and they get you out of there. And then all of a sudden, after the ball game's over, in fact, Coach, you guys even got water thrown on you. When Coach won it, you got fined for having water thrown on. But this thing, we got this all to ourselves. We're going to get to this venue in the early afternoon. We got to place all ourselves in the locker room. To me, the team that has not been there, it's exciting if they've not been there. But the way with 9 champions is just pretty difficult. It is good. It is a great venue. You know you're going to play with great weather. And all you have to do is set the thermostat. We don't understand that. But the bottom line is, I don't see that being a big thing. This would be a great outdoor facility for us. I think we'd have a decent crowd for our level. And I know our players are excited about doing that. The bottom line, I remember the days when we played at home. I remember playing at Lutcher High School in those days. And then that was the championship, Hornville. That was the championship. You know, that was the exciting time. It doesn't matter where you play a state championship venue, people are coming. Okay? Yes, sir.
Just quick comment. I'm glad somebody said that, because as officials, when we go to the dome, it's like you're on an island out there. It's hollowed, the top is empty, and when you go to the venue like the semifinals, that's what the officials enjoy, because the atmosphere, it's all the way to the highway. It's everybody's there. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way. Good luck.
I mean, they make you, we have to go through so many problems. Tag your bags, so many sideline passes. We actually have to cheat on your sideline passes. We listen people as priests or something like that. They've never been to church, much less being a priest, you know. But that's a good point. But thank you anyway, Kenny. I appreciate it, and thank you all, and good luck to all of you guys. Thank you very much.